We got Roger Stone news to cover. We've got a fascinating opinion over at NBC News about the White House's never-Trumper problem and how it's way bigger than Mitt Romney. And I'm really intrigued by it because I think there's merit to it. And I'm reticent because you know me, I'm not real big on criticizing the president. And incidentally, if you're a new listener to this show, and I know many are, we got a whole new community on YouTube, the YouTube platform. We live stream the show every day on YouTube now on the Mike Gallagher Show YouTube channel. And just based on our comments and our emails and our text messages, we do know that there's a lot of new people who are finding the show that way. Of course, if you're listening to us right now on your favorite radio station somewhere in the country, we hope you'll tell your friends. And a lot of people, once in a while, people will ask me, not often, but once in a while, somebody will say, why aren't you ever critical of Trump? And my reaction is the whole world is critical of Trump. Almost all of the media is anti-Trump. And I truly believe, as a conservative, as a registered Republican, as somebody who believes in his policies and is terrified by the policies of the Democrats, particularly in 2020, I don't want to feed that beast. I don't want to feed the anti-Trump narrative at all. And I am not, as a Republican, why would I want my side to lose? The never-Trumpers pretend to be neutral, and they say, why don't you criticize Donald Trump as much as you would criticize a Democrat? Well, they never criticized their Republican presidents when it was George W. Bush or Ronald Reagan or George H.W. Bush. The only reason they want you to criticize Trump is because they're never-Trumpers. It's in their soul. They can't shake it off. They can't rise above it, and misery loves company. So that's why I don't. And incidentally, maybe you disagree with my approach. I made this decision 3.5 years ago. I gave you a promise. This show is not going to bash the President of the United States. He gets it from all directions, he gets incoming every minute of every hour of every day. And yeah, there are things that I could possibly say that I find fault with. I saw Lindsey Graham criticize the president for tweeting about Roger Stone. There's policy disagreements you could have. I could go into a whole long tirade about deficit spending. I get it. This show, to me, ought to be kind of an oasis for listeners who don't want to hear the same old Trump bashing nonstop. And that's my commitment to you. And if you disagree with that, I respect that. In fact, if you disagree with that, you can challenge me right now. 1-800-655-MIKE. I don't mind, because I don't mind explaining it. I had a reporter ask me about this a couple months ago in an article they were writing about me and the show. And they said, why don't you bash him? I said, because he gets bashed in virtually every other media environment except talk radio, and not even all of talk radio. There are never Trumpers on talk radio. There's certainly some liberal hosts in talk radio. There are certainly never Trumpers and Trump haters on Fox News. You know, Neil Cavuto, not a fan. Geraldo. There's others, right? I mean, Andrew Napolitano. Oh my gosh, he hates Trump. So guess what? This show, for me, and my commitment is, and I've made up my mind, by the way, you're not going to, change my position, because this is, I feel very comfortable with this. I'm not going to bash the president, and I'm not going to, and incidentally, I've never discouraged you from doing so. You want to call, if a call disagrees with me, I put him or her to the top of the line. I don't mind you disagreeing. That's what this show is. This is debate. This is conversation. This is dialogue. But as your host, I'm not doing it. I'm just not. I'm not an objective journalist. I'm an opinionated radio talk show host. And I want conservatism to win. I want fiscal sanity. I want a border. I want a strong military. I want respect for law enforcement. I want lower taxes. I want I want to protect the unborn, which is probably the most driving factor behind my support for President Trump. Was why voting for him in 2016 was so easy for me. You get some of these sanctimonious Christian never-Trumpers, ask them where they stand on the life issue and why you'd support a president who's pro-late-term abortion, not to mention just pro-choice, as they like to call it. So, that's the philosophy of this show and where I'm coming from. That's why I'm struggling a little bit with this Ying Ma article, because I do think it has merit, and I do sometimes wonder about the never-Trumpers who Trump has surrounded himself with. He's got some snakes in the den. He's got backstabbers. And it's way bigger than Mitt Romney. Ying Ma points this out at NBCnews.com, and I think it might be worth having a conversation. Ying Ma is former deputy director of the Committee for American Sovereignty, which is a pro-Trump super PAC, so she's not anti-Trump in any way, shape, or form. But incidentally, we're getting a lot of response right now. Maybe you do want to dive in on the way I do the show.